Hi, I'm Jill.
And I'm Gianna.
And welcome to the We Watch It All podcast,
where we watch it all and give you our opinions.
AKA the opinions no one ever asked for. Well, not gonna lie, the title says it all.
What's the title of this one?
Well, they should have left a couple of words out. Vanilla should have just been the title.
Actually, nothing would have been better.
Or that, true that.
Nothing vanilla about Anguilla.
Season 14, episode 9. Like she said, nothing vanilla about Anguilla. We should just say goodbye and end
Thank you guys so much for listening or watching. Hopefully you'll leave us a good rating.
Because I don't know what we're really supposed to discuss. I gotta be honest, I don't know what we're supposed to discuss.
Here's what I think we can discuss. We're gonna discuss the episode, but I was sitting here, and as we went through the episode, I think it hit me. It feels, in my opinion, maybe you don't think this, but hard to share my opinion on about this show. I think it is these girls are, first off, they're not doing much, but a lot of it is telling stories about their past and things they have going on, and it's very personal and very sad that it's like, I don't want to give my opinion on that. I think that's the thing. This is not OC where I can be like, haha, Shannon has rocks in her teeth. Like, I'm not, like, it's, those are stupid little things. Everybody comments on divorce and the cheating. Like, it's just like a housewife trope at this point. But these girls have these, like, very sad upbringings that it's like,
some of them, yes
that it's like, what am I gonna say? Like, yeah, it's sad. So it's either like you don't want to say anything because there's nothing that you're gonna comment about this that's gonna be mean, because there's it's like that. But then again, the other thing is like, are you gonna come and listen to another podcast, give their opinion, and be like, oh, it's sad? Like, I'm sure everybody's opinion on this is like, oh, it's sad, their upbringing's sad.
Yeah, so a lot of the ones that I listen to were kind of in that same boat. I think what we have here is a group of girls that don't know each other. I think it's clear they don't know each other.
You bring me to my next point.
Because I feel like they're using our time to get to know each other. Now, also, don't get me wrong, I feel that in that respect, we are getting to know them, yes. But it's like every trip and everything is like somebody has
unveiling
to... unveiling. Like somebody has to,
this is a new layer of them. This is something new that I didn't know. If you were real friends, you would have known this. Which leads me to, the real big conflict for this is Jenna and her being closed off to them and all that. But so last week when I talked about the bag video that Jenna had posted on her Instagram, I went and found it. I think I sent it to you to watch. She did say, let's correct ourselves, she did say this is for the Housewives of New York. There was only one PR thing in there. It was the necklace.
Yeah. And in real honesty, that was her personal thing.
Well, yeah, and everything
so she might have wanted to share it with
everything
them.
else was brands that she really loved or things like that, but that's not even where I'm going at. On her Instagram, right around the same time, as we saw, she was working with the girl from Schitt's Creek, Emily, to build her house. She went, I don't know what this was for, I didn't continue diving deeper, but there was a video and I was like, oh, well, I'll watch it. I like the girl from Schitt's Creek. Let's just see. And it felt like a different Jenna. She was just so much more free. Like, this is, in my opinion, this is her with friends, this video that I saw of her. She was in a swimsuit, and not like a swimsuit, but like a full body, like Heather Dubrow had on. Mm-hmm. And it had like a little tuxedo printed on it. She jumped in the lake, pulled out a fish like Luann did from Crappy Lake. And it's like, it just felt like this is not the Jenna that we are watching. No, that she should be doing with her friends on the show.
No, because I think she's too afraid to do the things that would make her more comfortable, because these girls are very judgmental because, that's all they've done so far is judged either her or themselves. The first thing starts off with a dinner. The first night, they're already, like you said, they were like, wow, they're already at dinner. Like, yeah, it was kind of...
So now we have New York and OC both on trips, and it's just very like, here we go. And it does it again later, too, at the lunch.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to figure out. I don't want to say the housewife formula, but I feel like to a certain degree, they're trying to figure it out because...
Pacing.
Yeah, they're trying to...
Which New York has, I think, the worst right now. Yeah. New York and OC.
They're trying to bring up the topics to keep either the fight going or resolve the fight or whatever, and then they're also trying to like get that like personal like sharing moment, and because the stuff gets brought up so weirdly.
Well, and it's like there's not enough time between these things. I think that's why we do like Salt Lake, is because like they talked in the very beginning about Meredith in the bathtub, and then we did not talk about it till all the way again at the end of the episode. everything that they have done, it's spaced out. There's time in between. They set the different girls up in split groups. Like we said, you don't really see New York in pairings one off. Same with OC. You do, but you see them in flashback footage. No one's pairing off, which is weird.
Yeah. Like, nobody's established, like, oh, this could be my favorite, or that could be my favorite.
This is really going to be us just having our realizations for, like, what's going on, I think, with Housewives.
Or, like, when you think they're pairing off, then one of them turns on them, and you're like, wait, why did you... Like, I thought Erin and Jenna, again, like, when she brought her the soup and stuff last week, okay, they clearly are, like, there's a little bit of a friendship or something brewing there. And even Jenna said it in one of them, that she... said, oh, this is nice. Yeah. This is what you, like, a friend feel, like, what it feels like to have a friend or whatever.
Well, even we said we can see her being friends with Sai.
And then,
like, so it's like...
she betrays her by...
They both do. They both are the ones that have probably talked the worst about this.
That's why you're not going to find anybody that's, like, I guess, grouping up. And then, like, you have Jessel, who's, like, trying to stir up the wife swap thing between Brynn and Erin. And, I mean, look, was that an elephant in the room? Sure, because they hadn't addressed it. But they seem to have some kind of, like, way where they're just like, okay.
Back and forth, here we go. Like,
yeah, and also, they
switched, like, how many times between this episode between loving and hating each other?
And I think that's their thing. But I think it's, like, they seem to be able to move forward and, like, go to dinner and do these things and stuff without resolving it. Like, they've figured out how to do that. But, like, she tries to bring it up. And, like, for whatever reason, the two of them are like, no. And then...
Well, because to them... Well, she brought it up after they fixed it.
No, she brought it up in the very... As soon as they sat down, she started saying something about
I'm confused
seats or
because
swapping
they literally
something.
Had dinner. The next day had a same lunch where it was, like, roughly the same thing, and almost obviously they're on a beach on a picnic table, so it's like roughly very similar parallels. I'm getting them confused.
But she brought that up, and then Uba tried to defend Erin. Well, not even Erin. She said she's just defending married women because she thought the statement was wrong. And Brynn is like, sometimes, like, I just think to myself, is she crazy? Because some of the stuff that she says is, like, weird, because she's asking for an apology for being accused of saying horrible things. Listen, do I think she really meant to do any of this in a mean way? No, I think she thought she was being funny. I think she was drinking, and I think she was like, oh, so when you're done, blah, blah, you know. Like, I don't think she meant it to be mean, and I think she should have just said that, and that this fight should have been squashed back at the wreath place. It should have never come to the island.
Well, I guess the wreath thing was the first thing they got to discuss. The first time they got to see each other and discuss it. So, what they should have done, like we said, there's not enough one-on-ones. Yeah, then they should have met one-on-one to have a little coffee.
Either she should have met her before the wreath thing. But see, that's the thing, is like, can we figure out the timelines of how, like, close everything is together? Is there time to do these?
But then sometimes you see these things where they're like, this party was a month ago, and this goes for OC. Yeah. She doesn't agree with me next door, Cashew. But here comes Emily now. Oh my God. I'm surrounded. It's like sometimes where you see OC and they're like, this was months ago, and it's like, okay, that was like, the way they've moved through these shows, you lose perception of time. So it's like you feel like this might have been a few weeks ago, but really it could have been 2 months ago.
I feel like what you're saying is she should have, maybe not before the wreath party, but maybe after the wreath party. She should have tried to reach out to her and say, I think we need to get together and have coffee, because whatever this is,
let's talk it out before we go on this
trip.
It
doesn't, it's not going to be, we need to squash this. And then that's what I think they're missing, are those little, like you said, maybe they're not buddies, but the little one-on-ones, because everything is like such a group effort. It's like everybody go around it's almost like go around table and tell, like, a secret about yourself so we can all learn about you. That's what it's becoming. But then, like, the weirdest...
But you know what's weird too? I mean, obviously these are not things, like Jenna said. She says they're not just things that you're going to bring up at a party about her name and things like that. But my thing is, it's like, why don't you know these things about each other? Or roughly, like, everybody seems shocked when everybody tells their story. Yeah. Which really then makes me believe...
You know nothing about each other. You're total strangers.
You know nothing.
They brought you all together. That was the whole
thing, was like,
and these were supposed to be real... Yeah, I thought somebody knew somebody. Like, I thought somehow... Like,
I know, roughly I was kind of like, okay, I think maybe this one goes with this one and this one. But now I'm like, I don't know who goes with who anymore.
Nobody seems to know anything about anybody. It's very interesting.
It's like, yeah, I can see where there could be possible friendships, but I don't think there's previous.
And honestly, like, I sometimes can't even see them truly getting along, because then you're like, they're trying to discuss this and they're trying to get to a resolve, and then you got Sai asking the waiter to come over to take the order, and she's just like jumping right in.
I thought
and,
at
like,
first she was just doing it to squash the fight.
No, she was, because she wanted the
a
food.
little
She
bit,
wanted
but she
it to be
mostly
shut
wanted
down.
to eat, though. Really,
well, yeah,
that's
but
her
she
main goal.
wanted them to stop it, so she was just like, okay, they're not going to stop, so I'm just going to have
listen,
guy.
that's a smart tactic just to stop.
And I'm just
though.
watching Erin's face, like, what?
Because at first, their brain was kind of, with it, and then the waiter comes around, she's like, sure, I'll have this, and this, and this.
It does seem like they run down a line of different people. Like, so now they squash it, they lean over the table, hug, kiss. Okay, sit back down, you're all good. We're gonna get our food.
Literally go,
boom,
what
Jenna.
about you and Jen? What about Jenna and
then they
Britt?
said,
what about you guys?
Jen and you, why don't you squash it? I mean, I think
I don't even know if they even ate.
I don't know. The food I don't think did come out yet. But they really, to me, went in on her. Because they were going on about, like, how she keeps herself at arm's length. And, and she's trying to explain to them, I don't think this is the shocking that, like, seems very quiet and very to herself.
Yeah.
And I think she's established she doesn't know what to do in these girls' settings. So why they're still so shocked.
Has she? Because the one we talked about last week with the brother, that was with the brother about going on the girls' trip. That was the brother she said that to nine of the girls.
In that first trip to the Hamptons.
And she said it to them, or she said it in her
she
sit-down?
basically, she did. She basically
said it to Erin.
I've never been on an overnight girl sleepover. I don't typically do these kind of girl things. And I think she said it in the group in the end.
I don't know if she said it in the end, but I know definitely Erin knows, which is like, what's so funny is like,
I think
she definitely is the most vulnerable with Erin, and Erin's the one that betrays
at the
her.
table or something. There was a time where she put it out there to all of them, like these things are not like, because it was when she was talking about her mom and stuff like that. Her mom had the Asperger's. I remember she was sitting in the couch and so I think she was like telling them.
There.
I think she said enough of times to these people, like, I'm trying. I'm not very good at putting myself out there. And I think they take everything she does and cut it, like they really dissect it up because this thing with the girl and telling her name, I mean, they did the funniest thing. It's
listen, this might have been the best thing to come out of the whole episode.
Sometimes they do some quirky stuff.
They
and
had
a
Salt Lake moment with the editing.
You went too far, You went too far, but they did because I almost was like, wait, what? It said something about alternate universe.
In an alternate universe.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell is that? They were saying that she didn't share the name. So they show Brynn saying, like, her whole little story about, the last time me and my brother were, together. My brother and sister and me were together. We were like so-and-so old and we lived in a homeless shelter or whatever. And then they show her like just interject going, oh, by the way, my name is not really Jenna, it's Judith. And then you just see all of them like start.
They put it so well. They're like, are you serious? Get out of here!
Right
this
now,
wrong time. It was so. Honestly, that is the
and the sad
best part
was,
of the episode.
I wasn't really sure if it was true or not because I went, wait.
They did it really well.
They did it really well and like slipped it in, and then I'm like, oh wait, they're trying to show, because then she comes right on in her interview and says like, where in that would be like okay to do, like for me to like interject that in.
Well, that is the thing. It's like. The options of talking is like there's not many one-on-ones, and then when there is a group event, it's like, well, when should I air out my issues? I do think they made a big thing. They made a little thing, not a huge thing, about the gifts. I think that's Jenna's way of connecting with people and showing she cares for them.
But the funny thing is, like, Brynn is complaining about it, but yet she's also saying, hey, but don't stop giving me the gifts. And I'm like, dude, like, make up your freaking mind. I think she might have explained
herself wrong. I think she should have said, here's what I think you should have said, Brynn. I love the gifts, and they're amazing, but let's also connect past the gifts. Let's make it, like, let's be more personal. Like, the gifts are great, don't get me wrong, but can we have an emotional connection past the gifts?
I think that's what she was probably trying to do, but she also doesn't articulate herself
No, I know. Well, that's the issue. They all don't explain what they really want, and that's what I think she should have said.
But here's the thing. For her, for this particular incident with Jenna, I do think that it was a good one because they made her cry, like, bottom line. And I don't say that as a good thing, but I think they realized that this is not just like, oh, I'm a shy person. Oh, I'm this. Like, this is really challenging for her. And I think they realized, like, by making her cry, that she is very sensitive about this and she is genuinely trying. And I don't think she means it in any mean, malicious way or anything like that. I think it's just these are her comfort levels. And if they want to be her friend, I understand she does have to open up a little. But I think they got to understand you got to do it at her.
That's the one thing. Even though she'll
do it, you just gotta give her a little bit. This is like what is this, like a couple of weeks into the month?
Maybe they've been doing this now. What they do, Thanksgiving?
Yeah. So what are they? 2 months in? But how much have they seen of each other in that whole time frame?
That's the thing. That's the issue. They had at least probably 2 weeks off for just Christmas. Then let's say you take another week off. So it's like, out of this time, like, how much did they really film together? That is true. It's, you know, they could have missed like a whole 3-week gap in parts of it and things like that. Uba wasn't there because she had COVID.
Yeah.
Bryn would miss some of the trips. She was sick. But I will say, I do fear Jenna may have the biggest name out of them all, even that. But I like, if she doesn't figure out a way to connect.
Yeah.
I mean, it appears that she's a fan favorite.
One of the ones that I was watching, they were all saying they're too hard. Like, I was listening to Tenny and Tamara, and they were both saying that all of the stuff is coming, all the questions and comments are coming in saying, oh, they're too hard on her. And I do agree.
Yeah.
Because I think, but, you know, like, that's just me. I guess if you're not around people that have had that situation, then I don't think you get it. Okay, they're good with her. So then they move on to Jessel, and they're like, oh, so we don't really know anything about you Jessel, or whatever. And then she tries.
Another thing, so this is just confirming my theory. I don't know who the hell brought Jessel in.
No,
nobody was like, oh my god, yeah, you know what? Tell them your story, Jessel. I love hearing your story.
Like, I don't think anybody brought them in, because when I was listening to something, I was talking about Bryn and how Bryn became a housewife, and she kept saying to them, because they were commenting on, I think it was on Watch What Happens Live, they were commenting on what she does for a living.
Yeah.
And she said she does consultant work, but she works for skincare. She's like a representative or consultant for that. She said, they don't show what I do. I don't know why.
Yeah.
She said they don't show what I do.
That's the other thing too, is like, what does her apartment look like? What does she do? Like, it's so
weird. Very weird. Like, they have not shared any of that. And she said it has nothing to do with me. She goes, for whatever reason, they're not showing my job. But then again, she goes, and I'm not posting to Instagram like me, I don't know what, like doing Zoom calls or whatever for work. So you're not going to see that. Yeah. She goes, but I do work, and I work a lot of hours. And she goes, and I work so many hours that sometimes I actually miss things because, like, for the show, because I'm working. And she said, I only have money because it's only me. I only spend my money on me. I don't have kids. I don't have anything else. She goes, so I spend all my money on myself. So I look like I have money, but I don't. She's like, I told them I'm not a housewife. I'm not married. I'm not even dating anyone. I have no money. Like, she told them this when they were picking her. For whatever reason, they still wanted her. I mean, I think she's a good addition.
No, she's a good addition, but
she said, I don't fit the mold.
What's so funny is, because of that, since I follow her on Instagram, I do see her post things of like, stop calling me like a sugar baby. I'm not.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I have
what
my
she
own
was
money.
complaining about.
And it's like, you know, when you watch the show, it's like, I have no clue what she does, but the one time we see anything of like a relationship, she's prancing around with a fiance who's buying like $500,000 cars. So it doesn't paint her in the best light.
It's
like,
not helping. But that's how. I guess that's how they're painting her. I don't know. It's not.
It's weird.
Yeah. But like, on these strips, like, then you have Jessel trying to share and listen.
It was a little like,
but the competition for who's got the saddest story is really steep.
You got to give it up,
because you got, you know, Sai, who has now, we learn later that her mom is an alcoholic and died on a bench by herself. And then you got Bryn, who we already, you know, that was
Bryn's Giving. We got that one covered.
You heard that. And then you have Jenna, whose mom was Asperger's, and, you know, you weren't allowed to speak in the house. Uba, whose mother, I mean, granted, I don't know how much she's shared with the group, but just in general, she's got her mom that had cancer and died and is in therapy and the whole bit. And Erin, I think, is the only one that actually has a normal family situation. I don't think she has anything.
There could be something underlying, but
No, but I think she does. I think she's like the only one that has the most normal one. They haven't really talked about her upbringing or her situation either.
I don't think so.
Not really. But when Jessel does try to share, I think she feels like she's not, I don't want to say she has to like show some kind of tragic hard life, but I think she
compared to the others,
they've had like serious stuff, but I think she does think in some weird warped way that what she experienced was a hard life. And I just don't understand. I mean, Erin's like, you don't think your mom caters to you? And I'm thinking to myself, just from what I've seen, her mother absolutely caters to her. Like,
she came to London just to take care of your kids.
And then they show that bad clip of her mother and her husband walking the two twins away, and her going, I'm not even coming to help. I'm not having like what? You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like, that's what Jenna said too. I try to share with what I can within my comfort for right now, and it's not good. And, you know, if I try to say, and which honestly, in her defense also, I do think, like they were saying, she was under the influence of like probably pain medication when she offered the information up about
I didn't realize that was right after,
like,
she was talking
it was
very well.
literally that. Yeah, I think she's just got a high pain tolerance, and she's pretty good with that. So I mean,
well, I'm sure
honestly,
it's not just the anesthesia, but I'm sure they gave her nice pills to pop when she got home.
I'm sure she had pain medicine. So like that's kind of messed up, but you know, it is what it is.
I don't know. Now it's like, what is Bravo doing with these ladies? I feel like they're setting these up for like a mess. Like, they got this one filming post-medication. They're setting Brynn up to look like, what does she do?
An escort or something, because that's kind of what people were saying. And I'm like, I don't know. And it doesn't help that she is very, like, open flirty and what? You know, out there and doesn't really care. So, I mean, that doesn't really help. But
now it's like maybe Jessel's mother of the year over here, and they're setting her up to, like, the world's worst mother.
I don't think so, but I don't know. I couldn't say that sounds like it's about right based on because look, the bottom line is, if I put a kid down in a chair and I walked away from it and like I went to like watch TV or something and they filmed that, I mean, there's no getting around that. I did that.
That is too.
I'm not saying she did that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, extreme. So now they move on to the next day, which is yet another meal.
Yep.
Like, I just don't.
Which, this meal, the lunch, right? Or the breakfast? Where are we at?
Well, they have the breakfast and then they have a lunch. And they just kind of, like, rehashed about, like...
Yeah.
And I think Jenna opened up a little bit more about being, like, shy about this whole situation, but wanting to, like...
Yeah.
You know, do more. And the other thing is, I have to be honest, I was watching Sai take pictures, and I was not that impressed with
She wasn't happy with her photos either.
She wasn't either, but I'm thinking to myself, as a content creator, like, I feel like you should be able to,
I've seen
like...
her photos. Her photos are nice on her Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. She said, who's going to take them from me? Which means when she doesn't take them. So with the tripod, you know, she was doing what she could, but like I've seen her photos and they are very nice on her Instagram. Somebody else is taking it for her, yeah, with a better camera, not the phone.
At this breakfast, we get yet another sad story of Sai's mother being an alcoholic. I don't know how they got into it, to be honest with you. I can't recall, but I think it might have been off of Jenna's mom, a little chatter about that, and then they're all weeping. Like, none of them know this. Like, they're all ready to bust out about how sad her story is, that her mom was an alcoholic and she tried to help her, but I guess she ended up dying on a park bench. That's what I understand. She said she had a heart attack on the park bench.
She had a heart attack, on a park bench.
Heart attack on a park bench by herself, and then she got put in the hospital. She went to see her, and she was commenting on her crazy eyebrows that they are like drawn in real intense, and so she went with her bag of stuff and like was trying, which I thought was nice. She tried to help her mom, and then FaceTimed everybody and said, you know, say only nice memories and fun things to her. I mean, it was nice, but then she ended it, honestly, which I was really disappointed, by saying that her mother's ashes are in a shopping bag. And all I can picture in her closet, all I can picture is like a
plastic shopping bag.
Like a plastic shopping bag from like a food store. Why? Like,
maybe she doesn't mean like that. Like, think about when we got mittens. She was in a plastic bag.
No, I think she meant like she was in a shopping bag. Because the one girl made a comment and was like,
Jessel was like, I hope that's
Target,
like
Walmart or something.
I hope it's not a Walmart or a Target bag and it's like Prada or something.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of like crappy. And then she did say that she wants to go to like a certain location, bury a tree, and like not bury a tree, like plant a tree.
Bury a tree. And she's gonna take that tree down, axe it up, and bury it.
She wants to bury. I said it again. She wants to plant a tree and like put her mom's ashes there with it or something. So I mean, she does have a nice little plan, and everybody was upset. But yet again, it's like you said in the beginning, it's so heavy, so dark, so deep that it's like, really yikes! Like you just took a beautiful beach day and brought it down.
Well, yeah, but that's the other thing. It's like, we're supposed to be giving our opinions, and it's like, this is not something you like give your opinion on and try to make a joke about.
I mean, I get they're trying to like.
Oh my God!
I get they're trying to like get you so that you can see the backstory of people and where they came from. Oh, I know what it was, because they were commenting. Sai made a comment to Jenna, are you overly affectionate with your kids or something?
Yeah.
And she said yes. And then she said, I tell my kids I love them constantly to the point where they're probably annoyed with me. And then that's how she got into her. Yeah. They said something about her mom, and she said, no, my mom was not affectionate or not loving. She just had a drinking problem. So it just went from like where I thought it was going to be like a sweet little moment about them talking about how much they love their kids to like, oh my good God, from, alcohol like, to heart attack to death.
If it was I think it would be one thing to watch the show, but I think what we're like, because it's like Like, what notes are we supposed to be taking on these? Like,
and then the sad part is, you're in the middle of this. Okay, so let's not. I don't want to say, like you said, it's not that you want to, like you said, enjoy it, but you're taking it in. And then you have Uba, who starts screaming about a hair in the food.
Yeah.
And is gagging and getting up while this one's telling her story. It's like, it's a lot going on when you're having these moments that, like, you just play out the sad moment and let it go. And then, but like, then you got this one doing
gagging.
That. Yeah.
And you know what, too? They do a lot of, like, you're trying to pay attention to what one's saying, because you can tell somebody else is saying something, and the camera's also trying to focus on what they're saying. And it's like, I don't know who I'm supposed to be following in a conversation sometimes.
That's the sad thing is, for the guys that I watch on the podcast that I listen to, the ones that, like, they literally recap and they do, like, voices and stuff of the people, they made a comment that they were still an hour long for a show that's not this, like, it shouldn't have been this long, but they said they were already had so many, like, notes because they were trying, like, because of the fact that they're trying to keep up with what's going on. And like you said, this one's over here and that one's over there and this one's over here, but yet these two are in a deep conversation, and it's like spinning all the plates at once, that they're like, oh, okay, we must be close to being done. And then they said they looked at the counter and it's like, wait, 24 minutes have only passed? I thought this was over.
Yeah.
And they're like, I have a crap load of notes because of the way they do recount the whole thing.
Yeah.
They were like, I don't even know what to do. But I could see that. Like, you either have to literally recount the whole thing, or it's really like, what the heck?
Like, what are you talking about? I mean, look, I mean, we are making something out of it, but I will say I feel like 90% of this episode is us being like, what the hell?
Yeah. They now are going to, after these sad stories, and they do say, like, after this, they're like, come on, let's pull it together and let's go down to the beach and let's have a good time and blah, blah, blah. Funny thing is, Erin and Bryn, I think they could possibly get along really well because they have similar entertaining, like, situations, like, where they're trying to have fun, they're trying to, like, enjoy the day and stuff and get everybody else to enjoy the day and stuff. And they're talking about taking, like, pictures and stuff and get content. I hear them say, let's get lots of content.
Yeah.
The only one that doesn't try to get content is Sai. Like, you would think she would be the first one jumping up to join in.
Yeah.
She wasn't. Like, they had to, like, lure her in almost, I felt. Like, it was really
I don't know. Maybe she really looked at those pictures and was like, all right, I guess they're okay.
But here's your opportunity. You have people to help you that are willing to, like...
unless she didn't want them in her photos and she didn't know how to say that.
But she didn't have to do that. Like, she could have just took her own stuff and been like, I need a couple things for my own content, you know, or whatever. I'm sure they would have still done it and had fun with her. I mean, Erin and Bryn were posing together, but, like, they didn't have to be. Like, I just thought that I just noticed that I thought that was weird that, like, they were the ones that were, like, starting this whole, like, let's take photos, and she was just sitting kind of like a little bit of a lump, probably waiting for the next meal, to be honest with you, because food is all she talks about. But they all seemed like they had a good time, and, like, they tried to ask Gianna to, like, join in, and she kind of politely said, no, not really, I'm not, you know, comfortable, blah blah blah. She had a bathing suit, but she had a cover up, so she, like, was trying to do
they ended up having her, like, take the photos and stuff and all.
She was still participating, like, in a certain respect, which was nice. Now they get to the lunch, because that's all you feel like they do.
This lunch felt like it went so quick, did it not? It felt like they sat down and got up.
Well, I mean, Erin was saying she was chewing as she was walking away. You didn't hear her say that?
That was dinner now?
Could have been the first one.
You could have said, I don't think these ladies ate at this, because they sat down and they popped right up. But I looked at the table. The food was finished. The baskets were cleared out. They were stacked them up so the person could come and get them.
Yeah, I don't think this group is going to not let the food happen. I mean, I'm just saying, for sure.
Which is like, if you timed it out, was probably 2 minutes of what we saw. But clearly they sat there and ate a whole meal. Yeah. So it's like, do they sit in silence and listen to the waves? Like,
maybe they say to them, all right, girls, if you want to eat, you got 10, 15 minutes, like, eat, and then let's get back to it. Because I don't think they want them eating while they're talking. I don't know how that is, but I could see them being that way, like where she was complaining about eating and Tamara and Teddy said, welcome to the Real Housewives. That's not what they're there for, is to watch you eat. Like, or not to watch you eat, like, that's not what they're filming. You eating. So, like, basically, you better get on board and know you might miss a meal or two, you know.
Well, that's why I do think sometimes, like, during the dinner part, you could see some people trying to sneak food in if they weren't in the fight. So it's
Listen, if they're not in the conversation, by all means. Either way, I think you should. I mean, unless it's going to, like you said, make mouth sounds or something. I don't know if that's the case, but who was sitting next to her that asked her about, was it Jessel that asked her about her dating?
I have no clue where any of them are sitting. I'm telling you, I got this lunch and the first dinner blurred in my mind. They're like the same event.
I think Sai was sitting next to her and asked her about what's going on with your dating life or something. And she said, I really want to move on to having a family and I'm really stuck on that. And everybody was real positive about it. And she said, I'm starting to think that I might have to go the route of freezing my eggs. And then I don't know why this took such a weird turn, but
once again,
Erin,
I think Brynn explained herself wrong.
I do too. Well, I think she was being funny again and trying to say, I don't think a doctor told her, get on your phone and find somebody.
No.
I think she said, because a couple of people have also said that is the fact, that they will tell you, yes, you can freeze your eggs, but they are more viable and more
Well, that's what Ariana was going to do from Vanderpump.
They are likely to survive better if they're already fertilized and, are embryos.
Yeah.
So they claim that the doctor does, because Teddy, I guess, did it. And she also said that they did tell her that, yes, you can freeze your eggs, but they are obviously better if you... And I mean, what's her name had the embryos too? Who was the other one? Emily?
I mean, all of OC, I think, feels
has
embryos.
Yeah, I know. Heather and all them. They probably did say that to her, and I think she probably just said, oh, well, I'm not with anybody, so I guess I gotta open my phone. And I mean, maybe the doctor did say, hey, you might want to start looking through your Rolodex, joking.
Yeah.
But I don't think a doctor's going to tell you, I need a name right now.
Just unlock your phone and give it to me, and I'll start calling all the men.
I think she was just being, funny and trying to say, he was basically get me a name, or something. And I think Erin just took it too blatant and too,
the
seriously.
doctor, taped her down the chair and said, I'm not letting you get up until you give me a name of a male.
I need a name. And she's I think it's a crazy story. And I think instead of saying, the part, I think she should have said, because I think she lumped the whole story together, and that's what got Brynn upset.
Yeah.
I think she should have just said,
the doctor
did a doctor really say that? Get on your phone and look for people? And I think it would have been squashed. But I think because she encompassed the whole thing, it took a turn. But somebody at the table said, oh, give them 5 minutes. They'll be hugging. They'll be kissing and whatever.
Jessel?
Making up.
That's my guess.
Somebody said that. And I mean, honestly, they did in the end. Brynn,
they got in the car, went back home.
Brynn went to... that's the only good thing I will say about New York, is that they do realize, okay, fight, have a moment, but then you do got to pull it back together if you want to keep this train moving. You can be mad, and maybe you can hold a grudge a little bit in the back and still talk about it a little bit with someone else or whatever, but you ultimately have to make up, because if you don't make up,
I wonder if that's why their fights do move so quickly from one fight to another fight. It's because there is no one-on-one time to stir the pot with each other, to say this one said this one, or nobody's really even getting a chance to talk behind anybody's back, because they're always in a group.
But this is what we were saying. She came, she told Sai that I just think I need a little rest, time to myself. It's nothing. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not upset about anything. I just think I need to just chill for the night or whatever. And then she went to see Erin, and she said to her, I'm not coming tonight, and I don't want you to think it's because I'm mad at you. I just need some time to myself. And they worked it out. But that's the one-on-one they needed for the other thing, where they just got together.
Yeah.
They said it. It was done. So be it.
And that's literally so be it. That's where it ends.
Yeah.
Erin says she looks like George Washington, and it ends.
And even the coming attractions are
I mean, it looked like it was going to get some drama, Uba's ripping off glasses off of Erin's face.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, that part. But it's it really, doesn't...
It's still,
No. That's, the height of what you're, what the hell is she doing? Because Uba can be a little kooky sometimes and get a little wacky and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I feel like they're coming to an end soon, just like OC, because I looked at OC, and I think I said, just after we recorded our OC episode, I looked and I'm like, okay, so it looks like for now they're scheduled for 4 more actual episodes, I think, and then 2 reunions. So I feel like it's going to be the same for them. Maybe. I don't really know. No, I don't know. Maybe they'll run a little bit longer. I have no clue. But that's it for this week, because
that's nothing more. There's really nothing more.
That's it. I mean, we ended up pulling a little bit of magic out of our hat to talk about it for this long.
Yeah, which is amazing.
We do these every Wednesday, and on Mondays we do the Real Housewives of OC, even though you're like, oh my god, you just bashed those 2. Well, maybe we won't next week. And then every Friday...
We gotta keep doing it regardless. Well, something could happen.
Something good will happen.
I've gotta pray.
I'm not gonna lie, though, I thought about it. If we didn't have this podcast, would I have given up on some of them? Maybe.
I probably would be behind on watching them.
Yeah, I would have caught up eventually.
Yeah, I would catch up eventually, but would I be
watching every week? Let's get it every Monday? No.
No,
sorry.
Definitely not. I would have probably watched it all in its entirety.
Unlike that, though, every Friday we do Salt Lake, and we will be tuned in.
Yeah, we watching that tonight?
Do you want
You said
tomorrow?
Oh,
so if you want to hear us talk positively about a show, watch Salt Lake.
Do you have something to watch tonight?
Maybe American Ninja Warrior.
No, you told me.
Ahsoka.
I thought you said there was a housewife we had to watch tonight.
No, I said tomorrow. I said
tomorrow. I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Just a little scheduling conflict over here.
My bad.
But that's all for this week. We hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you like this episode, hopefully you'll give us a good rating. And if you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Don't give us a thumbs down. Instead, leave a comment telling us how we can improve. Subscribe, follow, and turn notifications so you don't miss any episodes.
Hit the button. It's pasta night.